Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a brand new episode of my F124 My Team Career Mode. Today we're here for the Japanese Grand Prix. Now if you haven't seen the previous episode at Australia, go watch it. Link in the top right now before we jump into some spoilers. We had a bit of trouble with track limits around Australia. If you want to see how that affected my weekend, then go watch it. Anyway, let's talk about this one, Japan, a track where things are going to get tricky, I think. This track is a very niche circuit. We've got China after this, and then I think Miami. So a series of not very good tracks arriving, and that's bad news. So luckily, we got some very good results in the first three races. Now, we're going to jump into some activities first and foremost, and we're going to go for those that, again, benefit us in terms of acclaim, resource points, cash, all those things, without hopefully hampering, other elements too much, especially department morale, which is the one I don't want to hurt, but I was trying to keep that nice and high. So yeah, we filled out the activity spreadsheet. We're now going to inherit 320 R&D points, as we did have an issue with the ERS in the previous race in Australia. We had a bit of a power loss and we did actually lose a bit of time because of it, but luckily it didn't affect us enough, because even with that issue we still had a great weekend, and we of course won the race in Australia and we also won in Jeddah. So we are fresh off the back of back-to-back wins in this, and so far a 100% podium rate. Anyway, we're going to go for upgrades and we're going to focus on drag reduction. The front wing gurney flap is going to be the first one. It's going to arrive just before China, so hopefully no failures, and we still have some points left, so I'm going to go for a second drag reduction, this time for the front wing end plates. So hopefully they'll both arrive. We'll take a nice little jump up in the table on the aerodynamics and move forward. Now, we got greeted with a marketing department event for the first time this season, and I'm going to find out in this that we now have to pick our rival for the foreseeable future, for the short term. And I could have gone bold with Carlos Sainz, but as I mentioned, the next three races aren't particularly favourable, so we're going to go for Daniel Ricciardo and go safe. Now with that done, upgrades taken care of, activities, a new rival selected, we now move forward on the timeline as we receive upgrades, also R&D points, acclaim, get all our activities done, and everything is set in stone, ready to go for the race at Japan. So let's talk about more updates. The forecast is dry, no rain for this weekend's race. In terms of our performance, again, the line is not visible, but we are somewhere between VCARB and Williams. Hopefully we can overtake VCARB soon. I think we've got an upgrade. Actually, no, I think we've got two upgrades in the car this weekend. We saw one before confirmed on the aerodynamics, and we've also received a chassis one from, I believe, the previous episode. So we do have two upgrades in the car this weekend, and hopefully that will translate to some pace in the championship. You can see this weekend we head in as the leader in the World Drivers' Championship, and then second place in the Constructors. Of course, Jamie Chadwick, our teammate, yet to score any points so far this season. So we jump into practice, into our race runs specifically, trying to find the balance, and us having a bit of a tough time with the curbs around here. And I mentioned it's going to be a tricky track, and I could feel it already. You can see I'm just wrestling, drifting and fighting the car all the way through here. Either way, we did hit our targets, hit our deltas, and we passed.
Program complete and a job well done. We got some excellent data with that run, so come on back to the garage and I can take you through the numbers.
Passed with flying colours, also had better tyre wear than what we've had in the first three rounds, but our fuel consumption was, I think, the highest it has been in the first three rounds. So good and bad. Pace wise, again, there was those mistakes kind of in those laps, but generally relatively consistent, also below the threshold as we finish practice. Now we are not in the top 14. Verstappen's first, we finish 16th, 1.7 seconds off, and Jamie Chadwick only half a second behind, albeit on soft tyres. So this kind of indicates that we might be a little bit off the pace, because we've been much higher up so far in the previous practice sessions in previous races. Now we upped our R&D points total to just under 1,400 points. We picked up a whole bunch of discounts, and also you can see here we're going to level up on acclaim on my end to level 6, Jamie Chadwick approaching level 10, and as a team hopefully level 20.
This is a circuit where sometimes you see something truly exceptional behind the wheel. We've seen it from Vettel, we've seen it from Verstappen. It is a remarkable place to watch a car at speed. Welcome to Suzuka. We're qualifying for the Japanese Grand Prix.
Right then, let's get to it. It's time for qualifying. Carlos Sainz setting a 1 minute 26.821 as a bit of a reference benchmark for us to try and beat in this session. Currently, first lap, again, same run plan as we always do in the short qualifying sessions. We're going to go for 2 laps on this first run and then a second final attempt, a single lap run later on. So let's see if we can deliver. The last session in Australia, we invalidated or made mistakes on our 2 second runs. Actually, our first lap ended up being the best one. So across the line we go. Our first lap of the day is a 1:27.
We've only got 2 laps of fuel left.
A 1:27.8, which it's only P13, and not exactly what I had in mind, but also kind of confirming that the pace, at least right now, isn't quite there. So we're going to go for a cool down lap and now a second push, and we're going to try and see if we can sort out our lap times and find a bit of pace. So already 2 tenths up, so a good start as we now head into the S section and just trying to basically avoid curbs. You can hit the first one and really attack it, but the rest you want to kind of just lay off them and don't touch them, as we actually interestingly forgot to use battery on the first lap, so I used everything basically from the hairpin exit onwards. So in the second half of the lap we drained the entire battery. On this lap I started using it earlier, and you can see now we're 3 tenths up. Into the hairpin, we get nice braking and rotation, also getting an okay exit, a little bit of oversteer, but we're 3.5 tenths up now as we make our way up towards Spoon Curve. So we're going to try and hopefully hold on to this advantage and this margin. This would put us into a high 1:27.4. Through the second part of Spoon, we find a bit more time, almost running our track limits there as we flirt with the white line on the way out, and we're going to basically use the majority of our battery on this straight, but I had so much more available on that previous lap through here that we're losing time all the way down the straight. Brake at the 100 down to 4th and really cut these curbs and attack a final chicane. Back end getting a bit loose, so we lose a little bit of momentum on the exit. DRS to the line as we hit the deployment limit and we go P8, which is better. 1:27.395, definitely a more competitive lap time. Oscar Piastri right now in first, and we're only just over 3 tenths away from Verstappen in third, so it's not terrible, to be fair. It's a decent effort. Further down, Jamie Chadwick is P20. She's about a second off what we've done, so yeah, she'll be last by the time Leclerc and Ocon get their laps on the board. So let's go for it. One final attempt, and we're going to find out if we can improve any more. So let's get into it. The final lap in qualifying.
And that's just 30 seconds left in the session.
That's a crucial mistake, a big error there, just a back end coming round at the wrong moment and maybe a little bit too much throttle possibly on the way out of the chicane, but either way it was looking good. To be fair, the next car, Lance Stroll, is almost 2 tenths ahead of us anyway, so I think P8 could have been possible, but we finish in P11, Jamie Chadwick P22, so we are slap bang in the middle. And to be fair, Jamie is within a second of our time, so it's not as bad as the first few races, but we've got work to do, and our pace isn't as good here.
This is legendary Suzuka with a long and storied history dating right back to 1987. There is more history to be written here today. Welcome to the Japanese Grand Prix. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Norris, Perez, Leclerc, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Stroll, Martinez, Tsunoda, Oscar Piastri, Ocon, Albon, Ricciardo, Gasly, Joe, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Bottas, Sargent, and Jamie Chadwick. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside me is Anthony Davidson. I love this moment in the weekend. Put us in their shoes right now. What are they feeling on the grid?
You've got to know, you've got to have a pre-race game plan. You've watched videos before you get into the car of previous races gone by. You know where you have to place your car if X, Y, or Z happens in front of you or behind you. So having this clear game plan is absolutely essential before you get in the car.
So here we go. Time for some proper racing action. Now, I've seen the comments. I know you guys are not loving the fact I'm winning races already, but to be fair, it's worth noting we did not start this My Team Save as a newcomer. We are a midfield team, albeit a midfield team shouldn't win races, but what I'm saying is it's not out of the question. It's not a million miles away. Now, this has been a bit of a reality check, and we are definitely not in the winning conversation here, barring a freak safety car or a bit of strategy genius, because we have no rain forecast. So this is going to be a very simple race. We're going to start hard to try and make this race work for us a little bit and have a better second half of the race. I don't know what really to expect. I think I'd take a points finish in general, but obviously there was a bit of time left on our qualifying lap. So I want to try and aim for a top 6. I reckon that's possible. Fuel, 0.5. We're going to go for the hard medium strat. So pretty straightforward. Besides that, I don't want to get expectations too high. I just want to try and keep the points streak running. I think our podium streak is going to come to an end today, but let's try and keep the points rolling as we head into China and then Miami. Either way, let's get to work and let's see how this goes. My tyres are a bit cold. It's proven to be a bit of a challenge to get temperature because the AI have a very low-key formation lap. Anyway, we're going to try and scrub these on the run to the grid box and hopefully just build a bit of manual temperature, especially in those rears. Right, we better hope that's enough because we're out of time. Anyway, let's get to work. It's time for the Japanese Grand Prix. Like, subscribe, 5 likes, and we're not off. We are absolutely not off. Losing out instantly to a few cars, bit of contact there with Ocon. Don't think anyone was particularly at fault there, just a natural racing. We try to go around the outside, but I don't have the grip. We're on the back foot here. On these tyres right now, Ricciardo goes through as well. Just don't have any tyre grip. Again, the AI have perfectly, temperatured tyres from their formation lap. Not that they need it, but we are way down, so we're going to feel the effects of that for this opening lap. Hopefully, from the next lap, we'll have better tyres, possibly even midway through the next lap or even the lap after that, but we're not going to let that hamstring us as we put one back up the inside of Ricciardo at the hairpin. Only thing is I just can't find the traction, so we're not going to fall into a DRS, or in this case ERS battle. We're going to keep some battery on side and be smart about our usage. only one DRS zone, but you do want to have DRS around here. It's a pretty valuable assist to have in terms of just general pace and lap time. Onto the back straight, Albon giving me a bit of a bump draft. Looks like we are a little bit slow on the straight as well, which is never a good thing, but our weakest sector was sector 1 in qualifying, so just lacking a bit of those key areas, I think. Oh, yeah, tyres are still not there, man.
Okay, DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Fighting with Albon here, we use all of our battery to try and stay ahead, and we do manage to pull that off, but we've left ourselves exposed with no battery, so we've got to try and stick with the cars ahead here. This won't be easy. I've managed to stay close through here and stay within 8/10, but this is a straight which worries me. The AI absolutely unleash everything here, and I don't have any battery to fight with. Albon's gonna...
Okay, some information on Ricciardo. They've got some kind of mechanical problem.
Albon's gonna go for it. I'd rather get the DRS, so we're gonna let him go. Also, with Ricciardo struggling ahead, he'll be slow. Also, I didn't want to go side by side with AI through 130R. That would have been a catastrophe. Just don't have an answer right now. Now we're suffering. Now we're feeling the effects of a My Team car. As Gasly goes through, the AI just have very good straight line speed as well. So I just don't have much to fight with here at the moment. Let's just try and not fall away and just stick with somebody. Hopefully there'll be a crossover point and we'll be okay on our tyres. Verstappen setting the pace. Ricciardo now has Albon for company, of course. With those car issues, Ricciardo is going to start struggling. Zhou having a look here as we go personal best. I just don't have a lot of battery. I use everything out of spoon. So we're exposed versus the AI, who just have incredible acceleration in that last part of the lap. Still, no big deal. I still think it's possible to fight back here. I just can't drop too far back, so we have to start getting it together. And Ricciardo might be the cork in the bottle here. I've got to try and get a charge if I can. Oh, Ricciardo with a mistake. Around the outside of Zhou, but do I want to fall into a battery deployment fight here? Not really, not with the next straight, which is where we're massively just getting exposed. My engine is a bit second-hand. I'm due a change, probably for the next race with the sprint in China. So there is that. Let's see, I'm going to trust. We're close enough now, we can make some damage. Gasly, Ricciardo side by side. Could make things quite delicate. I'm going to choose the outside. Ricciardo's struggling with his car. That gives me the inside for the final part of the Casio triangle chicane. Not sure who got DRS out of Pierre and Daniel, but we're going to go for it. I think Pierre got it, so that's good. We can just follow him now. Back up to Albon. Let's try and make some recovery now. Right then, we've got DRS on Pierre. He does not have DRS on Albon, so this is going to be a perfect chance here to hopefully pass him and leapfrog our way onto the back of that Williams. Out the final corner. Use a little bit of battery here. Personal best again as we improve. Just going to trust the battery and the DRS to get the job done here. And there we go. And this will bring us onto Albon, and then hopefully when we pass Albon, we'll leapfrog onto Ocon. And as such, we'll just keep making that progress. Then there is a bit of a gap, to be fair, after Ocon, but again, we'll keep chipping away. Albon a little far away. We'll go late on the brakes here to try and close in, but there is a bit of a gap that we're going to have to work to close. And I don't have a lot of battery. I use actually quite a decent amount to get past Gasly and push on. Let's see. Nope, not close enough. We'll take a charge lap and go next time. The gap to Piastri, who's on the back end of the lead group, is quite a substantial one. It's going to require a lot of work to catch. I'm hoping they'll concertina. Right now, though, we are going to get Albon here, and we'll leapfrog onto Ocon. We'll force him inside, so then he'll back out. So now that gives us DRS on Ocon next time to pass him next lap. Albon's closing in rapidly. He second-guessed himself and didn't commit into 130R, but had some serious rolling momentum. We're setting Ocon up here. We've actually gained quite a decent bit on Piastri. The train's broken in a few places in the lead group, so yeah, that might help. Anyway, through we go on Ocon. So we've recovered somewhat, not to what we started, but somewhat. Piastri stroll ahead. But let's see if we can try and make some inroads on that group. Would really help us if we could. Right, they're 3 wide up ahead, so this is good. Let's try and get stuck in. Come on. Driving really well right now. Gap down to 2.5 seconds. And they'll keep battling. They were side by side through the S section, so they lost a lot. But there's more battles ahead, so the AI are feeling racy and aggressive around here as we pick up our first warning for track limits there. Still, let's keep our head down. We're about to drop the cars behind. Pace is really good. Pit window approaching. Gap 1.2. We're not quite close enough to nab DRS on this occasion. But we're not far. One more lap. But I'm expecting pit stops as well very soon. But if we get one more lap out of these guys, we're going to be there. Okay, we get one. Snowder's in.
We're approaching the pit window and you're going to be on mediums.
That's fine, that's fine. Right, let's push. Come on, let's get DRS for the next lap on Piastri Stroll. I'm actually a bit further back. That little bit of clean air, that little gap that was created by Snowder pitting. Piastri is showing his true pace in the McLaren, and he's just...
I've got information on Stroll. They seem to have an issue.
Okay, interesting. As I was saying, Piastri just drove into that little bit of space left by Tsunoda, and obviously the McLaren's way quicker, so he just pulled away. But they're staying out one more lap, so this time we might get a shot at nabbing something. Let's see, they're going to battle away, more cars in. Any form of a safety car VSC now would get us right back in the sharp end of the race. We're going to have to pass Stroll here. We're going to catch him at the wrong time. I was hoping to get DRS.
Okay, be careful. We think you're going to start losing some tyre grip anytime now.
He's too slow, so we're going to go straight up the inside and send it. We won't get DRS on Piastri, but it is what it is. Would have lost more time waiting behind Stroll all through this section. Right, everybody else who had to box has.
Box, we're coming in this lap.
Now the question is, do I want to respond or do I want to try and extend a little bit? I want to go one more. We'll go full push on this one. And we'll box this lap. Right then, let's go. Let's box and see if a bit of an undercut, a bit of an overcut has paid off, going longer than I originally planned by a lap. Hit our marks, nice and easy. No need to push or take any risk. Obviously the leaders will go through. We're not really in that conversation today. We need a nice, smooth stop. Piastri behind Tsunoda right now. 2.4, excellent stop. We're going to be quite a way behind, but in clean air ahead of Stroll and Ocon.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
The points are right there. Tsunoda, Piastri. That's our target. Catch those two. I'll be very happy with a couple of points. Although I think it's likely Piastri might disappear, so I think P10 is going to be our realistic finishing position here. Maybe even the fastest lap, you never know. Piastri, Tsunoda side by side. Purple sector 3, this is going to be my fastest lap attempt. So we'll use all the battery in this one. I'll go full push. 129.4. Max moves the goalposts. It's going to be close. Exit here is going to be key. We'll take a short line. I'm out of battery. But we do take it by a 10th. Hopefully that's enough. With no DRS. We need Piastri to drop Tsunoda. Otherwise, he's going to drag him with him. Okay, another good lap. Tsunoda doesn't have DRS. He's coming back towards us. We are going to catch him. I wonder if we can use him to leapfrog onto Piastri and possibly even attack him at the end if we have the tyres. Oh, engine failure, I think. Wow.
We're looking at some imminent gearbox issues, I'm afraid. Watch out for jams and misgears.
That's surprising. Usually those happen when the components start to get changed, but that hasn't been the case for this one. Damn. That was sooner than expected this season, and our streak comes to an end. Big fat 0.
What a way to head to victory. Lando Norris takes the win.
Well, they showed true grit out there today, not to be outdone by the rough circumstances. Many points that came their way today. A job well done, not the easiest of days, but they walk away with a race victory.
Our winning drivers are on their way to the podium right now. It's been a fantastic race for McLaren, that's for sure, and no doubt they'll be celebrating tonight.
Well, there we go, guys. That is it for the race at Japan. Definitely did not have that on the cards. I really thought we could have probably fought to get Oscar Piastri, who actually got a Russell at the end and finished P8. So, yeah, I mean, the gap to Tsunoda was 7 seconds. So I think probably P9 would have been tricky. I think it would have been a point and fastest lap. Either way, Lando Norris wins by a small margin over Verstappen and Sainz, but wins nonetheless. Leclerc misses out on the podium. Alonso P6 for Aston Martin. Let's quickly confirm our results. So we did actually get the fastest lap, but of course a big fat DNF. Jamie Chadwick P18, and actually a better performance, nowhere near being last, and only 3 seconds off Ricardo. Magnussen there as well, Zhou in that kind of pack. So some improvement from Jamie, but definitely a ways to go still. Either way, let's analyse that race in terms of the championship. So we still lead, actually, which I'm genuinely surprised about. A big fat 0, but Lando and Sainz do massively close, and Verstappen as well. But we go to China next, and that's going to be a rough one with a sprint as well. Lots of points up for grabs that weekend. Constructors were down for 4th place from 2nd, and that might keep tumbling, to be honest. I think our target kind of initially is probably going to be to beat Aston Martin. I think that's going to be the first objective, which could be possible, and we'll take it from there. So yeah, I'm not sure how this is going to affect the post-race stats. So in terms of, you know, our claim system, reputation, possible, you know, earnings from that race, damages. Either way, it's not ideal. The good thing is we lost the gearbox, which is a very minor thing in terms of the engine components, and has plenty of extras, so that won't threaten a grid drop later on in the year, because it's quite a minor issue. So yeah, it is what it is. It would have been a point at max, no points instead. But yeah, we keep moving and go to China, guys. Like the video, subscribe. A big shout out to the members for supporting the video, as always. Also check out the 2 videos on screen, guys, if you haven't seen them already. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, have a good evening. Ciao.